Hey Rebels! All right, let's talk about balance, specifically when it comes to giving and receiving. And the question, are both comfortable for you? This issue creates a lot of imbalance in a lot of empathic people's lives. So I want to make sure that you really tune in and look at it, because I think you're going to notice that you have an imbalance here. I have to always be checking on this. This is not something that's easy for me either. It's something that requires you to do a systems of checks and balances often to make sure that you're balanced here and that your old ego tricks haven't come in and muddied the waters for you. So let's talk about giving and receiving and what I mean by that. So empaths are designed to be givers. We love to give things to people. We love to show up for people. We love to be the one that people, come to when they have a problem or need healing or whatever. We love being there for other people. We love giving to other people. Here's this thing that I have. Here's this gift. Here's some help. Let me give you some time. Let me give you an ear to listen. And I'll shoulder your problems for you. Like, we love to do that. And we feel a lot of self-worth when we do that. And a lot of empaths have a self-worth tie and connection to specifically being the one who's giving to everybody else. And the verbiage that you have in that vow is probably slightly different than mine and someone else's. But the main meat and potatoes of that, what it really means is that your self-worth, in order to feel good about yourself, you have to be giving to another person. And so that doesn't sound terrible when you hear it. Like, of all the horrible ego vows you could have, that doesn't sound like the worst one ever, right? But here's the fallout problem with that. What happens is when you go to the other side of this, when you go to receive from people, from the universe, from anything, anybody, what's going to happen is your self-worth is going to plummet. All right, it's going to hit the ground, and all of a sudden you don't feel good about yourself. You feel a lot of guilt and a lot of shame happening when you go to receive. Even if it's something very small, like someone just listening to your problems, it may trigger that guilt and that shame in you, which is going to make you sidestep and not want to go into receiving. Because that shit's uncomfortable, right? Nobody wants to sit in that. That's a really gross place to feel. But it's worth pushing through. Because if you have your self-worth bottoming out when you go to receive, then you have another vow in place too. And it was probably formed as what I call a counter vow. All right, so your ego created a story about your self-worth being tied to giving to other people. And it created this counter story of what it means to receive. And a lot of empaths, especially women, have in there that receiving is selfish, okay? And that receiving is going to cause them some sort of danger. So ask yourself the question, if receiving is uncomfortable for you, which if you deny that it is, I'm call bullshit on you and say, I don't think so. Maybe it's more comfortable for you than for someone else, but really look at that for a minute. If somebody went out of their way to gift you something or to do something for you, or wanted to spend time and allow you to vent or talk about something going on, how uncomfortable would that feel? Scale of 1 to 10, right? Guilt, shame coming in real fast, isn't it? Like freight train. Yeah, me too. I get it. But here's where you want to look. Here's where you want to start asking yourself these questions. Why is it selfish? And what's unsafe about receiving? Why do I feel like receiving's unsafe? Now, somewhere in your story, probably around that magical age of 6 that we love to talk about, when your ego really started to develop and turn on, you have a story there. And for some people, it's a big, traumatic, hard story. And for some people, it's this little tiny thing that they watched on a TV show, and that was created there. You have to understand that your ego and your intuition create all these stories and ideas, and your ego specifically holds on to these stories as evidence, and they create stuff sometimes in a vacuum, right? So that's why we have like a memory from a TV show, or we hold on to these things that we're like, why did that affect me so much, right? And that's because there was a vacuum. There wasn't a statement there. There wasn't something that you believed strongly, intuitively. So your ego stepped in and created a story about it, because you have to have something there. right? That's how we all operate. That's how nature operates. Everything on this earth operates. There's a vacuum. You'll be sucked into something if you don't have something there at the ready. So chances are that's what happened when you were a kid. Again, the scale of what it was that caused this in you is different for everyone. But what happened is something happened and you decided that receiving was unsafe. So if you can do a little digging to see what that might be, I highly recommend understanding that. Even if you can't pinpoint the exact memory, if you can kind of figure out what it's about, that's going to really help. Now, if you're one of those people who's going to say to me, but Heather, I don't have any memories of my childhood, I'm going to tell you to push through. You do. Our brain, you definitely have memories of your childhood. It's just that you're having trouble recalling them because your ego has a belief that that's unsafe for you, that those need to be held back. So keep working on recalling memories and letting them come up and feeling safe. Create some statements about feeling safe, and that's going to really help you too. All right, make sense? All right, let's look at, now that you kind of do this digging, let's look at why this is there. So in our society, especially if you're a woman and especially if you're an empath, one of the things that we were taught as kids by our parents who didn't know any better was that we needed to be tough and we needed to be strong. And if you have this idea that tough and strong is about not needing anything and about not needing any help or attention that would take from someone else, if you have that story, then receiving is going to be very difficult for you, because that's where that guilt and shame is going to come up, as if that space could have gone to someone better or someone more deserving of it than you. So if that's really striking up a chord for you, take a look at that. Like, explore that more. Why did you grab that belief in your ego vacuum? All right. And what would you like to believe instead? Because logically, you know that isn't true. It's just that your ego thinks it is, right? Your ego's created a story there, and until you replace it, that story will remain. Okay. Now, the other thing that you'll probably have going on in your ego, and that you might feel a little trigger when you hear, is when it comes to receiving puts you in the line of danger specifically. This is where that unsafe word is really going to come up for you. So there could be a memory of you receiving something or doing something where you were carefree and not worrying about anything, or doing something nice for yourself. And at the same time, and unrelated to that fact, something bad happened in your life. Something happened that, you wished you could have done more for, but you kind of associated the fact that that bad thing happened with you having this carefree, wonderful moment of receiving. All right. So when you have that going on, now we have another tie to this being dangerous. And now don't forget, if you have a vow that says your self-worth is only activated when you're giving, then think about yourself like in a relationship. You're not going to feel as if you deserve love from somebody unless you're giving to them, which is going to make you block receiving from them, because that's going to make you feel unworthy. And then you're going to have, like, someone gives you something and then you have to give them back like times 10, right? Has that ever happened to you? I'll bet. So that's what you want to look at. Here's why it's important to have a balance of giving and receiving. In order to keep giving, you have to be receiving, because you're just going to run out of gas, right? We're talking about this all this month, because you have, in order to give at a better level and give better each time, you need more tools. You need more energy. You need different things coming in. You need different energy hitting you. You need new ideas and you need to be recharged and connected to people to give continuously at a higher level. And if you're not doing that, if you're not receiving that in some way, then you're going to notice that you get really burned out in the giving department. And now you're just like, I'm giving, to these people, but I'm not feeling it. And then you just become this kind of robotic version of yourself, right? Who has been there? I caught myself slipping into that a couple of weeks ago, right at the start of this month. I was like, whoa, slippery slope. I'm starting to feel that feeling. And I had to really work to tune in to receive again, right? Because when you feel like your time is shorter than usual, it's hard to be like, all right, let's stop all the stuff and take care of me right now. That's really difficult to do, but very necessary. So understanding that and committing to looking at it and knowing that you need to be able to receive is huge. When it comes to your relationships with other people, if you want stronger friendships with other people, romantic relationships, stronger connection to your children, all of those things. You need to get good at receiving from them because they want to give to you. If you want to have a real good connection with people, you've got to allow them to give to you, and you've got to be able to appreciate that authentically when they do. If you feel like, especially in the friends department, if you feel like you don't have a lot of close, strong, great friendships, it might be because you're not balanced in your giving and receiving, and you need to allow that to be balanced. So either you're just giving too much and not letting people receive from you, like not letting them shoulder some stuff for you. I know as a friend, like when I have my people going through tough stuff, I want you to come to me. My shoulders might be little, but they are strong. Give it to me. Let me shoulder it with you. Let me walk through this with you. It's not a burden. I want to be there. And I feel honored when those people ask me to do that. I do. I feel like, thank you for trusting me and letting me carry this with you for a little bit. And they feel the same way. And if you're not allowing that, you're only like sort of shouldering that stuff for them, they're not going to feel as strong of a connection with you, because they're not going to feel like they have that trust with you. Right? Makes sense? So you want to really connect and tune into that too, and look at that in your romantic relationships. Are you good at doing both and allowing both? Maybe you're one of those empaths. There's some of them out there who you're feeling deprived, and you go out there and you over receive. You don't make sure you're giving to other people. You're just like, I need this and I need that and I need this, and everyone's going to listen to my story for 4 hours, and I'm not going to ask them what they need or think about how they might feel. Maybe you're doing that. Check in with yourself, rebalance, look at that. Now listen, it does not have to be equal. It's not a thing like if your friend listened to you for 20 minutes on the phone that you need to quickly figure out a way to give them 20 minutes of time. If somebody gave you a gift for $50 that you need to run out and give them a gift that's worth $52, that's not what it's about. It's about allowing so that you can show up and authentically do those things when they intuitively feel right, not just to even the score, to make yourself more comfortable with the fact that you just received from somebody, okay? So really look at that and check that balance. Receiving blocks also block you from receiving from the universe, from using the law of attraction, from getting support and help in things, right? Just as much as you want to like receive and give in a friendship, you also want to receive and give with abundance, right? Like you want to do that ka-ching, ka-ching with money. You also want to have people show up to support you when you need help. If you're doing something, you want the right person to just manifest in front of your eyes and be like, let me help you with this. Let me support you in this way. You want to have that stuff show up and not just be doing that for everybody else. You're going to need it. You are going to need it. So make sure that you really take this work seriously so that you don't have all these abundance blocks when it comes to money and people showing up for you, because that discomfort with receiving is gonna mess you up. Women are taught that they should be martyrs, okay? In order to be a wonderful, great woman, that you have to martyr yourself, right? You have to always be in check, always be neat. Don't appear messy in any part of your life, emotionally, appearance-wise, home-wise, hair-wise, I don't know, anything. Don't appear that way. And make sure you're always giving, right? We celebrate all these selfless mothers who do nothing for themselves. I see people competing over who's been the longest without a shower. How is that? How are you winning? How do you win that? This is what we do in our society, and that's a trap that, oh my gosh, us women have fallen for. I slip into it too, where it's like, let's talk about who's the biggest victim of having too much shit to do, and let's bond over that. It sucks, right? I hate that we have to do that. But if you're in that space, if you're not able to, if they're like drinking that Kool-Aid and buying into that martyr bullshit, then you're going to be controlled by everybody. You're never going to rise up out of that. And you're buying into a system that's designed to keep you down. Don't fucking buy it, friends. Cancel your subscription. Cancel that subscription and start saying no. I deserve to receive. It's not about being a martyr and being selfless does not make me a great woman. Having a strong sense of self and giving and receiving and leading by example is what makes me a kick-ass woman. So remember that as you're going through this as well, okay? So put a check into all those things. I'd love it if you posted and told me how that was going and how you felt about that. That would be fantastic. Also, you're gonna notice, and I'm gonna do like a separate little video for this in a couple of days, so don't worry about this. But I just wanted to add, while I have your attention, that over the rest of this month, this group is gonna feel a little bit under construction. You're gonna notice stuff changing, and that's because we are working on getting the more course format up and running. And January's theme that you're going to be learning about is everyday astrology. So we've done astrology as a topic in here before, but what we're doing is we're bringing it back. We're making it so that it's in course form, so that you can understand how to use astrology every day as an empath to kick ass in life, and what you need to know, and a bunch of awesome resources. And then at the end of the month, if you've completed the stuff, you'll actually get a certification in everyday astrology. So that's how that's going to be formatted. So we'll just need a little bit of patience. You'll notice things changing and moving around in the group over the rest of these weeks, but we're getting ready and we're super excited to bring that to you. So stay tuned for that. And if you have any questions about any of that stuff, let me know. But lots more information about that switch over will be coming out very soon. So keep an eye out. You'll be able to sign up and jump in very soon for the course stuff, so that you'll be ready to go. But January 1st, it'll be up and running. So stay tuned for that as well, and really keep an eye on the giving and receiving, and post some feedback in here. I'd love to hear it. Have a great day, guys. Bye.